Hi, Americans. I support Kyle Rittenhouse's right to self-defense. There is something that really concerns me about the direction of the debate. So I'm making this quick video because I feel collectively as humans, this should bother you too. But first, please allow me to clarify the justification of my support for Mr. Rittenhouse. In my humble opinion, I believe over 99% of us, given the same situation in Mr. Rittenhouse's own shoes, would have done the same thing. Now, imagine a scenario where you literally trade places with Mr. Rittenhouse, say in 10 seconds before the first attack by the now deceased Mr. Joseph Rosenbaum, or the second attack by the now deceased Mr. Herbert. If you are armed with an AR-15 automatic rifle, would you sustain further potentially life-threatening assaults, enduring lacerations to your head, or would you terminate the assault by simply pulling the trigger? Now, a highly emotionally charged debate, but I would be a big, colossal hypocrite to say I wouldn't defend myself even at the expense of someone else's life. Does the life of the deceased have a diminished value because of their criminal past? Are we right to factor in the hideousness of their past crimes when considering the loss of life? Now, besides the empathy one feels for the biggest victims here, the families of the deceased, who have lost sons, and the fact that this creates an atmosphere of resentment towards the arguably justifiable actions of Mr. Rittenhouse, I feel that some opinions which have nothing to do with the substance of a conversation either require a separate thread or should be kept as private opinions. Now, I am all for freedom of speech in America, and we have the right to share our views. However, let's not forget at times to exercise our right to remain silent. Don't be a troll. But as I said earlier at the beginning of the video, there is one thing that really agitates me about the current discussions, and it relates to the way we constantly highlight the past crimes of the deceased, especially when it has no relation to the merits of the case, no relation to the substance of what we gather to discuss. Why? Because this is the same tactics employed by propagandists to justify their immoral and illegal actions. To imply that Mr. Rittenhouse or a government or anyone else for that matter is justified in committing an extrajudicial killing, especially in the case of criminals, is a slippery slope to authoritarianism. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there are enough examples of executive branches of government around the world bypassing the judicial branch, avoiding a trial, and simply dishing out executive justice against opposition as it sees fit. Please remember the equality of our three-armed government system. The executive, the legislative, and the judiciary are equal branches. Each holds an equal 1/3 of our power in government. Now, some would say perhaps we need to pass tougher laws to address the extent of their crimes, especially ones that relate to the underage. Again, a different conversation on a different thread of debate. Simply, I'm horrified that we are being desensitized with each killing of an alleged criminal. First, it began with people that don't have the same skin color or nationality. Then, now it's people with dissimilar ideological and political views. And perhaps in the future, in the not so distant future, it could be other people with opposing public health views. Now, I think I have to be balanced in stating that all the kids involved ought not to have been out that night. There was a curfew in place, and the best way to defend yourself is not to show up to a late night demonstration when the police have initiated a curfew. Across the pond over here, I also find the courage of young Americans surreal. Such Hollywood audacity and brazenness to challenge and attack a man with a gun. What is happening to us? Are we losing the ability to affirm what is good and condemn what is bad? I am not going to politicize a man losing his life. I won't take any political sides. Human life is more valuable than they versus us, even when your political views align with mine. But you need to remember this, the royal law, love your neighbor as yourself, do not hate your brother without a cause, are important and foundational to Western culture. And one could argue that it includes modern civilization. So, in closing, we need to ensure that as we become more and more separated by our views, be it on race, nationality, economy, and especially politics, we never lose light of the fact that how we value one human life is representative of how we value all of humanity. Thank you very much. My name is Abraham, and please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. This is the Wisdom Room. God bless.